The first reading is taken from Luke chapter 12, verses 13 to 21. Someone in the crowd said to him, "Teacher, tell my brother to divide the inheritance with me." Jesus replied, "Man, who appointed me a judge or an arbiter between you?" Then he said to them, "Watch out. Be on your guard against all kinds of greed. Life does not consist in an abundance of possessions." And he told them this parable. The ground of a certain rich man yielded an abundant harvest. He thought to himself, "What shall I do? I have no place to store my crops." Then he said, "This is what I'll do. I will tear down my barns and build bigger ones, and there I will store my surplus grain. And I'll say to myself, 'You have plenty of grain laid up for many years. Take life easy. Eat, drink, and be merry.' But God said to him, 'You fool, this very night your life will be demanded from you. Then who will get what you have prepared for yourself? This is how it will be with whoever stores up things for themselves, but is not rich toward God.'"
Second reading is from Matthew 6, verses 19 to 21. "Do not store up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moths and vermin destroy, and where thieves break in and steal. But store up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where moths and vermin do not destroy, and where thieves do not break in and steal. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also." This is the word of the Lord.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you, Sally. Now, Luke and Macy have started a tradition of doing charades before the clip. But today it's going to be quite tricky, so I'm going to need a bit of help with this. Okay, so it is... Okay, that's good. I've got that far. No. This is why I'm rubbish at this. Great. Well, sorry, I'm not supposed to say anything. Okay. Yes, thank you. Hooray. Hello. I don't have to carry on. Amazing. Okay, so if you don't know the story of The Greatest Showman, Barnum is a poor tailor's son. He marries Charity, his childhood sweetheart, against her family's wishes. And he makes his fortune by building a museum and a circus that becomes really popular, full of people that society treats as outcasts. And he becomes very rich and very successful. And he chases more approval and more recognition. And in the process, he ends up neglecting his family and the people in the circus, and then it all goes horribly wrong. There's a fire, he loses his fortune, and he returns home in disgrace to find his wife is leaving him and his house is repossessed. And so he does what we all do. He goes to a bar, feeling like a failure, and drinks his sorrows away. So we're going to watch this clip.
Charity? Oh, God, Charity.
I don't want to talk to you.
Nothing happened. This is ridiculous.
Nothing happened. It's on the cover of every paper in New York.
Because she orchestrated the photo. I'm not in love with her.
Of course you're not. Not with her, not with me, not with anyone. Just you and your show.
What are you doing?
I'm going home.
This is your home.
The bank. They're evicting us. Why didn't you ask me before? I would have said yes. I never minded the risk, but we always did it together.
figured you'd end up here, feeling sorry for yourself.
Folks, if you've come to get paid, money's gone. All of it. Nothing left to
Shut
give
up,
you.
Barnum. You just don't get it. Our own mothers were ashamed of us. Hid us our whole lives. Then you pull us out of the shadows. And now you're giving up on us too. Maybe you are a fraud. Maybe it was just about making a buck. But you gave us a real family.
And the circus. That was our home.
Who has seen the film? A fair number of you. Okay, we're going to play a game, and sort of to prepare for this game, I want you to imagine that you are on a deserted island with some palm trees, some sand, some ocean. Nicholas, do we have anything that might help us just to sort of feel? Oh, there we go. Perfect. But you know what's missing is maybe a bit of music. Anything that we can do? Oh, there we go. There we go. Everyone feeling it? Do you know what's missing though? It's a Caribbean shirt. Who do you know who wears a lot of Caribbean shirts? I have been prepared. Thank you, Matt Roy. Matt, how many shirts do you have? Countless number. You've got a whole suitcase. Okay, good. All right, I'm gonna put my shirt on. Okay. Okay, thank you so much. Right. I think we are ready. So let's have the music down a little bit. I want your help this morning because I need to figure out what I'm going to take on my desert island. I'm going to hold up 2 items, and what I'm going to ask you to do is to vote for which item of the 2 you think should make it onto the desert island. Are you ready? Okay. So our first thing I've got is mobile phone or the church donation box. Okay. Who thinks the mobile phone? Okay, all right. What about this one? No, because it would be bad and wrong. But also because it's not going to get us very far. Okay, good, thank you. Right, here's the next 2 items. I've got a pillow and an alarm clock. Which do you think? So, alarm clock? Anyone? Yes, Martin, I agree with you. I quite like a clock. What about the pillow? Yes, okay, that's got the consensus, all right. Okay, here's a bar of my favourite chocolates and a photo of my family. So which do you think is the chocolate? Anyone? I mean, it'll be good for the first 10 minutes, right? And what about the picture of the family? Yeah, about an even split. Okay, good. Okay, and then we've got a towel and some sunglasses. Let me just. All right. So who thinks the towel? I think that's quite useful. Yeah. Who thinks the sunglasses? A bit more. Okay. All right. We're whittling it down. Okay. And I've got here a tape measure and a pack of cards. Tape measure. Pack of cards. Yes. Okay. Pack of cards. At least you've got something to do. And then I've got a toolkit and a ball. Who thinks the ball? A few people, and Arlo does. Toolkit? Yeah, you do know how to be able to use it, though. But yes, you're quite right. Okay, I'm going to just kind of increase the stakes a bit. Ellie, come here. Come on. Come here. Ellie, come on. Come on. She doesn't want to come. Come on. Ellie, come on. I don't want to rub your tummy right now. Come on. Good girl. Good girl. Come on, let's go. Okay. This is Ellie. Ellie, sit down. Sit down. Okay. And Joel, would you like to come up? Good. Okay. This is going to be tough, guys. If you don't know, this is my husband. Okay. So who votes? Sit down, Ellie. Over here. Come on. Good girl. Sit down. Good. Stay. Who votes for Ellie? Joel? Oh, hooray! Look, you're more important than the dog. That's what you wanted to hear, isn't it? Okay, amazing. Sorry? Yes, Joel and a toolkit would be sorted. There you go. Good girl. Stay there. All right. Thank you very much for helping me. Sorry? Yes, if they chose a ball ticket. Exactly. She's had her eye on that ball all morning. Okay. Do you know, it's good to think about what or who is really important in our lives, isn't it? Many years ago, we bought a new car. It was sort of tax-free. It was part of a package for the diplomatic post that we were going on. And we had this quite savvy plan. The idea was to sell it for more than we bought it for. And this car was very shiny. It was very big. It was very new. And Joel drove it home, and he parked it on our drive. And our neighbours came out, and they said, "Have you won the lottery?" It was quite big. And I did not enjoy driving this car at all. It was comfortable, it went very fast, but we drove this car in Vienna for 3 years, and the streets were very narrow, and so were the car parks and the underground car park. And because we were trying to be really clever and sell it for a profit, we had to keep this car in pristine condition. But I had more accidents and scrapes during those 3 years than I had ever had before or since. And I hated driving this car because it was so stressful. I realized that the car kind of owned me, not the other way around, and I just couldn't really enjoy it, which was a shame. And this is what I learned, not Joel learned, I learned, because you enjoyed it, was that the more that we have, the more complexity that there is in our lives, the nicer the stuff that we own, the more insurance that we need, and the more we worry about it. Sometimes having high-end, this is quite hot, sometimes having high-end or expensive things don't, in the end, give us more enjoyment. They just actually give us more stress. Let me find my way again. Yeah, they just give us more stress, and they take our attention away from people and from relationships and from quality time and everything that really matters in life, because we can't take any of this stuff to heaven. Have any of you ever been to somebody's house where they have bought a lovely new sofa and they've kept the plastic on? Yeah, it's a bit like that. They've spent their energy preserving the sofa but not enjoying it. Now, I don't think it is not about not looking after things. I think it's important to look after what we've got, and I'm not saying that we shouldn't buy what we need. I think we should. But I think Jesus is here is saying that we shouldn't spend so much time and energy thinking about building up our resources and our wealth that we neglect our faith and our relationship with others and with God. And this isn't a gentle reminder on this lovely sunny morning that people are more important than things and that we shouldn't spend too much time about stuff that doesn't matter. I think in this parable, this man who builds bigger barns is actually showing us here there's something to learn from this parable about how to live holding things lightly so that we don't get distracted by what doesn't matter. So there's this man in the parable who is called the rich fool, right? But he was a rich fool, but he was also a smart businessman. He had been wise and savvy and done well, but also had had a fair bit of luck with his harvest. In fact, we are told that he had an abundant harvest. Now, if we have had success in this life, it's never because we are 100% purely brilliant, okay? It is often because, in addition to us working hard and perhaps being quite good at what we do, we've been helped along the way. Perhaps we've had good mentors or financial help, or we've just been really lucky we've been in the right place at the right time. And perhaps also we've been born into circumstances where we've had the privilege of good parents and money and opportunity. So this man didn't just get a great harvest because he was a good farmer. God also blessed him with good land and great weather and the conditions for this to have gone really well. And that is where that's the first thing that this guy did wrong. He did not recognize or thank God for all that he had been given to make this harvest possible. And I think that can be our mistake too. When we don't realize all that God has given us, and all of God's gift to us, we don't really feel like we need to give anything back to him or to anybody else. We think that we've done it all ourselves. But actually, we need to be grateful to God for positioning us to receive the good things that we have in life. So that's the first lesson here, is to adopt an attitude of gratitude. Let's remember that what we have is because God has given it to us. He has blessed us. So he goes on with all the success and loads of harvest, and he thinks, what shall I do? And he's at a fork in the road. And this is where he makes his mistake. He thinks that the best solution here is just to build even bigger barns to store his surplus grain. And that word is important. This guy had more grain than he needed, far more grain than he could eat. And so this is a second lesson from this parable. There is a difference between want and need, and when our focus and our energy is spent on stuff that's surplus to requirements, our focus shifts and we'll get distracted. And so the man builds bigger barns, not to expand his business, but to store up his crops so that he will have plenty for future years and he'll be able to just take life easy and relax. But he took his life for granted. He thought that he was in control and that he could predict his future because that night he died. And the grain just sat there. It just sat there, and eventually it would have just rotted and died. What a waste of time working to get all of that grain only to die before you can enjoy it. So Barnum, in our film, lost his focus also. He lost his focus on what was important. He sought money, a bigger house, a great reputation, at the expense of what was really important. And the applause that he wanted, and he got, wasn't actually all it cracked up to be in the end. When everything fails and a fire destroys a circus and he loses his home, he is reminded by the people who love him that family, that relationships and belonging are what matters. Now, both the rich fool and Barnum thought that they were kind of invincible, that they were in control, but we cannot control everything. And when we try, we end up missing what's really important. And this is the third lesson from this parable. As Christians, we need to live with eternity in our hearts. And if this man had recognized all that God had given him, he could have used that surplus grain to start a charity, to bless his neighbors, to take all of the grain to people who hadn't got fertile land. He could have done something really exciting with all of this extra surplus that he had in a way that actually would have blessed tons of other people. So when we grow in faith, our horizons are supposed to expand. When we grow in trust, we become more generous. We give stuff away. When we really know what God has given us, and it's that it's him that we have to thank for all that we have, we are able just to pass that blessing on to other people, and that makes the world a better place. And we can partner with God, and our lives kind of open up. So Jesus says, don't store up treasure on earth for yourself, but instead store up treasure in heaven, because where your treasure is, there your heart will be too. So I'd love to encourage us today with three things from this parable. The first is recognizing what we have been given by God. Let's practice gratitude. The second is let's recognize that there's a difference between need and want, and what is surplus, what is left over after we've had what we needed. And third, let's do something really creative and kingdom-orientated with the gifts that God has given us. Let's bless other people. Let's invest in good causes. Let's mentor others. Let's give to charity. Let's pass things on to the next generation. Let's put our money where there is a greater yield of return in terms of good, so that we can store up our treasures in heaven and keep our hearts in check. So, shall we stand together? We're going to pray. And then we're gonna sing. You might just want to shut your eyes and just take a moment. Father, thank you for all that you have given us. The people in our lives, the gifts that you have given us, the relationships that are important to us, the jobs that we have, the provision that we have been given, the skills that we have. We thank you that you have blessed us. Father, may we have attitudes full of gratitude. May we constantly know that it's you who has given us all that we have. Thank you, Jesus. Amen.